they're more on a checklist. Women are browser shoppers. This is a stereotype. This is not across the board, obviously. But usually women are browsing. They're looking for something in the back of their mind that they kind of would like, or they kind of have this present they're looking for, but they're not really committed to anything, usually. Now men are more, they're not going to go shopping for the sake of shopping. They're going to have a checklist in place with, all right, my little sister needs blah, 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 I need to get my wife, blah, 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 and they have a list. And they kind of have almost a idea already in place of what they want, and they're looking to see if you have what they want.
Typically, if you see, this is my personal opinion, but typically if you see a gentleman walking through a store gazing, that means you've lost their attention. That's my personal opinion. And I think to solve that problem, signage. That, again, my big solve all issues. But I think a lot of times, like when I watch my dad, for instance, shop in a store, if there's something big that says new product, or, I mean, he's such a techie, but it doesn't necessarily go with technology. If it's a new product, and it's got a lot of information that says where the product itself is made, or a neat story about the product, or a testimonial from a customer about the product. Do you not see men standing there reading those a lot of times? And I think that's really important, because a lot of times you want to connect a story with a product. And so if a gentleman is kind of gazing and you've lost attention, and then you've got a really cool story to read, then all of a sudden it becomes a talking point, I think, and a reason to purchase the product or learn something new about the product. So I think signage solves that problem. That's my opinion.
I would say another thing would be your front display, trying to make it neutral as far as gender neutral. So Pegram Dunn, you notice the first display, there's a lot of pink, and it's a lot more girly. That's because it's surrounded by laser stuff. And the laser stuff is like a guy beacon. It's like calling all men and all their like techie, like, ooh, look at it, it's burning something. Isn't that cool? And then they come up in the lobby, and the lobby has all these huge plaques that have all this carving, and it's like a guy mecca. So I'm trying to get some girliness in there to make it softer and make it like, hey, we're not all huge plaques, we're not all burning wood, we do have other things. And so trying to have a balance there of women, men, and likes and dislikes too for them too. Yes?
I'm thinking of books, signage for books, themes. Where do you buy signage, or do you make it on computer, or you talk a lot about signage. Tell us how you come about it.
Sure. A lot of times authors will provide you with signage. If you're not provided with it, making your own, absolutely. If you have a Microsoft Word program, that's the easiest way to do it, or OpenOffice you can download for free. I think, is it openoffice.com?
Yeah,
.org. Okay, went over there. And really just making a template. So use the same font every time when you're using your signage. Again, make sure that everything is consistent. So you've got your header is one font, your subheading is another font, and then detail. So really calling out, I think three bullet points is great. You really typically don't need more than that unless you're telling a story. But 3 things about the book, so either where the author's from, the area, the subject area, or an interesting factoid about the book. Writing your own signage absolutely is great. Or if there's a reason why you think that it is in line with the season, if it's a story, we're doing an event here is it a cowboy?
The Cowboy Fair,
yes.
This Friday and Saturday, you're welcome to attend.
And
you
so
see the chuck wagon upstairs already.
There's books, right, that would kind of tie into that.
Mary Keneally is our author this year from Barber Publishing, and since she is a cowboy western romance author, I felt inspired to go western. So we have cowboy hats and bandanas, and
so that would be a way for, if you've got something similar to that for summer, a theme, does that answer your question, making signage?
I would also say for her though too, depends the size of your store, but you can get, right now, especially because of the economy, a lot of great graphic designers to work with you and for you, especially if they're young and they're starting out. You can get, go to some local schools and say, hey, I'm really looking for some help with graphic design, and we'll get some really good prices. And then if you stay with that person, as they get better and better and better, and they kind of pull you along with it, graphically and signage, that's really good. And then you're starting this partnership from the ground up, so they're most likely going to give you a really good deal in the future then, as you work with them. But
I guess I was thinking more beyond paper signage.
Well, once you do paper though, what you can do with the paper is, once you print it yourself, you can buy adhesive foam core board, and just put that over. And that's the cheapest solution. If you're here, I mean, if you have an easy, readily available source of wood, and you have a handy husband or a handy guy that works for you.
Picture frames, you can use picture frames.
Yeah, picture frames.
There's cheap acrylic signage vendors online. I would say if you're doing it specifically for books, 4x6, I wouldn't go much larger than that. And you could get that acrylic sign holders, which are, I think they pay for themselves. You change your signage out so often. It's kind of an initial shock because it's acrylic, but it's worth it. If not, if you sell picture frames, use the picture frames that you sell for signage. I've seen a lot of people do that, which I think is a great, and whenever you can use product that you sell to merchandise other product, it's such a cool thing to do. It's another option for you to sell something, to show something that you sell. Any other questions?
We're up there in the gallery. You want me to describe my gallery? I'll describe her. I don't. Jean goes in the three descriptions.
We did have three. We had cozy, more of an inviting, didn't we? I think when we originally upstairs, or was that not it?
I don't think that was it.
Maybe that was Crocker. I don't remember. That's
I don't think that was it. It was. If you want me to put it into words, it's elegant. It's welcoming, and then it's also, I guess, home-like. We want it to feel, and then also that goes along with it is, which I find really helpful, is inspiration points. So as you look through other stores that you find really intriguing as you yourself, take from them. Take from them the best of what you like, and then utilize it within your own store. Peter and Leanna, the owners, really liked Pottery Barn. They really liked the feel they got in Pottery Barn when they came into Pottery Barn. I really like anthropology, because I'm a younger demographic. And so I kind of blended the two a little bit in a way. I mean, you'll see aspects of Pottery Barn behavior, you'll see aspects of anthropology, kind of quirkiness, and they kind of blend together to create this little person. And I think it's more helpful for me to pretend the gallery is a personality, that she is someone. Just because then I can say, okay, would she like this color? Would she not like this color? Just it's easier for me to relate to that. You can say
we did
words.
That a little bit when we were opening the store up in West Crocker Park. We identified, we described the customer that we wanted to come into the store, and then moved on with the decor from there. And I would say anthropology is, because of the demographic that store is at, was a bigger inspiration for that particular.
Pottery Barn is a bigger inspiration here, but. I would say it's helpful, if it's helpful for you, you can look at it a couple different ways. You can use words, you can use pictures, and go through and cut out pictures from magazines and catalogs as inspiration points, and then that's your page of who you kind of like and want to be, and keep that current. Don't just do this one time. This is like a continual thing where you're like, all right, who am I this year? Who am I for Christmas?
Every time before we do a layout, it's called an idea board. So just like a black piece of foam core board, and just any kind of, either if it's a fabric that you saw that you really liked, a paint color that you saw that you really liked, again, something ripped out of the magazine. If it's a family photo that you want to design your decor around, or a product, a picture of the product itself. Have that, so you've got a point of reference. It's easy to see all these really cool design ideas and jump from here to here to here to here, and not putting together a really cohesive plan.
I think it's especially hard if you're pretending. I would never look at the store, even if you own it, manage it, whatever. The store is never you, and you are never the store. That's an important distinction to make. I am not P. Graham Dunn, and they are obviously not me. I mean, I don't decorate like this at my house. I don't, there's differences. So keep that boundary between you and the store, and say, the store likes this. This is what the store and the demographic use. This is not what I myself, because it's very easy to get in that trap when you're picking out paint colors, when you're picking out product, when you're picking accessories, and saying, oh, I like this. Okay, but it's not about you, it's about the store. So, okay, the store likes this, then the store, try to keep that distinction in your mind pretty clearly.
Which is why I think it's great to, again, have that design board, have those 3 words, always have something to reference yourself back to that forces you to put yourself in the mindset of, this is what my store needs, not necessarily what I need. Yes?
Can you talk a little bit about window displays?
Window displays, absolutely. Again, that's the 10 seconds that you have to grab attention. So there's a couple different directions you can go with the window display. If you're a new store, I would say